This piece of environmental vandalism only increased the pressure on Schwarzkopf to launch the ground campaign. His plan was a masterpiece of strategic deception. The main attack would appear to come down here, across Kuwait's southern border. 40,000 American Marines would thrust up into the Iraqi defenses. Alongside them, troops from other coalition countries, including large forces from Syria and Egypt. Their job was to make Saddam think they were just the start of a much larger attack from here in the south. But Schwarzkopf's main blow would come not from the south, but from the west. Under the cover of the air war, he had secretly shifted the bulk of his army, 1,500 tanks and nearly 300,000 men, up to 300 miles off to the west to launch a giant left hook. His main heavy tank force, with Britain's men and tanks on their right flank, were waiting for the signal to burst into Iraq and swing east into Saddam's Republican Guard divisions, dug in on the Kuwait-Iraq border. On the 24th of February, 1991, the ground attack began.
But the real attack would come from the ground troops. And the first to go in would be the US Marines. Coalition commanders expected the Marines to be able to penetrate just a few miles into the heavy Iraqi defenses, with as many as 1 in 3 of the Marines being killed or injured. But as the Marines crossed into Kuwait, they were amazed at what happened.
All right.
The Marines continued forward into Kuwait.
The Marines were scoring a major success in their thrust up here into Kuwait, almost too successful. They and the Arab forces to the east and west of them were fast heading for Kuwait City. There was now a risk that some of the crack Iraqi units, like the Republican Guard up here, might retreat before Schwarzkopf's army could destroy them. So he brought forward the timetable for his main attack. He ordered his big left hook, including Britain's tank force, to go in 15 hours ahead of schedule. The British would go for Kuwait, and the US tanks would head for the Republican Guard.
Ten hours into the ground war, at 2:30 p.m., British and American troops began a massive artillery barrage onto the Iraqi positions in front of them. One of their key weapons was the multiple launch rocket system. As the artillery died down, more than 150,000 coalition troops and over 1,500 tanks began their advance.
But they couldn't match the Americans' firepower, nor halt their relentless drive towards Kuwait City. The British and American troops had to keep up the speed of their advance. Saddam's army was collapsing by the minute, and every minute counted if Schwarzkopf was to be able to destroy the bulk of Iraq's military equipment before it escaped. Schwarzkopf's main armored thrust had swept across 100 miles of Iraqi desert west of Kuwait and closed in on Saddam's elite Republican Guard. Finally, at 4 p.m. on the 26th of February, they came face to face.
The gunner in the lead American tank quickly fired off a shot at one of the Iraqi tanks. Within seconds, the other American tanks had opened fire. In just a few minutes, the Republican Guard's position had been obliterated.